welcome back. We are now officially approaching episode 3, where I'm about to paint a 2025 Rivian R1S with the paint code S7D or EXP014. If you're looking for the paint codes in Rivians, they're always going to be on the driver's side jam, and they're always going to start with EXP. I don't know if it's a 2025 thing, but this is actually the first one that I painted where it's actually had another paint code, which was a 3-digit paint code. Right now I'm about to apply a coat of G-Shade, which is a base coat version of sealer. This particular color called for G6, so I'm just going to put it in the repair area, and I'm also going to put it on the lower part of the deck lid where it's going to line up so I can ensure that the paint matches. Alright, so let's get to the big question. That question is this the easiest color to blend ever? You shall find out at the end of this episode. Alright, so it's always good to observe each panel before you start spraying. Like in this instance, I had a little bit of tape over that edge, and that is not a good problem to have. So now I'm making sure that my G-Shade is dry, which is that base coat version of sealer. It's very, very important to make sure that your base coat is dry before applying any additional coats. If you don't, then what ends up happening is the paint will react after the bake cycle, and it'll look like little blisters or little air pockets in the paint. You always want to make sure that your paint is completely dry before applying additional coats. Otherwise, it's a nightmare, and it's going to cost you or cost the shop more materials to have to get it repaired and then respray. It's very, very important to pay attention to the weather outside, because the weather outside basically has a lot to do with how your paint dries or how it sprays sometimes when you're in the booth. So right now, as you can see, I mean, we're in the colder months, and it's taking a long time for my paint to dry. So if this was a 3-stage pearl or a quad coat or anything in that nature, I would definitely have to make sure that my paint is dry completely, because those particular colors requires you to apply multiple layers of paint to achieve the factory match or the factory look. Alright, so now I'm about to apply my blender using PPG's T490, which is clear base coat reduced. And I'm going to lay that down pretty heavy everywhere except my repaired area. And basically what that's going to do is give my base coat something to blend into without causing sand piling or anything in that nature. So like I said before, whatever you do to one panel, you have to do to the other panel. And what that does is assure that everything matches. So here's my first coat of base. Hit those edges first. Blend it out. Looking good, looking good. Same thing to this panel. Alright, so I'm about to speed it up so y'all can go ahead and see how my paint is going to dry into that 490 or blend into that 490. Here we go. so now we're ready for coat number 2. Just like before, I'm going to go ahead and lay down my blender, blend into it again. With this particular color, and a lot of the Rivians, their metallics look very, very coarse. So if I was to do a drop coat or a control coat on this particular color, it's going to look blotchy. So it's better to just spray it uniform and blend it out. So as long as I'm covered on this coat, we're going to be ready for my first coat of clear. Alright, so right now I'm going to check my coverage. Looks like I'm covered, but I didn't like that edge on that. So I'm going to apply a little bit more color to that edge. And on my quarter panel, it looks like everything blended out very well. It looks like I have good coverage. But I was shining the light underneath that edge on the bottom. And so I'm going to apply a little bit more color to that. Then on to my first coat of clear. Once again, I'm making sure that my paint is completely dry before I apply my first coat of clear coat. Very, 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 very important. Sometimes it'll look dry and it's not, so you just want to make sure before applying anything else. All right, so now I'm about to apply my first coat of clear coat using PPG's EC 520. The flash time on that particular clear is 5 minutes between each coat. What I usually do is go in and lay down my first coat of clear coat. And then I set a timer for 5 minutes. That way I'm following PPG's recommended flash time. Then I go back in and lay my second coat down. Let it flash for 5 minutes again. And then I'll put it on a bake cycle for about 30 minutes at 160 degrees or 165. All right, so I let that flash for 5 minutes, and now I'm on to the second coat. Something to always keep in mind is that the weather sometimes changes things. So in the hotter months, you might have to get on it a little bit earlier than the flash time. And one indication of that is when you come in the booth, After that first coat of clear coat that you lay down, all you have to do is touch the tape or touch the plastic around that panel that you're clearing. And if it's tacky, then that's another indication that you can go ahead and put another coat of clear coat on. I didn't like the way that second coat looked, so what I'm gonna do is go over it just one more time and speed up a little bit more, just to try to slick it out a little bit more, because I wasn't completely satisfied with it. So I wanted to make sure that it looked good. So the question at the beginning of this video was, is this the easiest color to blend ever? The answer is yes. As you can see, this was one of the easiest colors to blend. Thank you for your time. Make sure you hit that like, comment if you want to, and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay humble and keep going.